Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today I have myself. We have our wonderful talent.
I'm back.
Major McFarland, who decided to grace us with his presence today.
There we go. Now I have it. Sorry.
And today we have a special guest with us. I'd like to introduce you guys to Titan of the Month, Officer Tyler Hall. So thank you so much for joining us today, Tyler. We appreciate you sacrificing your time and coming in early so you could do the podcast with us. But to give you a quick introduction, everybody, this is Tyler. Tyler, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, buddy.
So we wanted to bring you on, and we wanted to talk a little bit about your Titan of the Month award. Mm-hmm. By the way, congratulations. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
Everybody in there, give them a round of applause. I know you know how to do it.
Good job.
So we wanted to bring you on, and we wanted to talk a little bit about it and just kind of get your side, get your story, and talk a little bit about what happened. So
Okay.
if you could, for me, give us a little rundown of the scenario and what you found and what you did, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to whatever captains, lieutenants, just superiors had nominated me for the award. So thank you to all of them and for recognizing me. That's really cool that our company does that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So it happened, I don't know, maybe some weeks ago, but it was when we were having a lot of bad storms. And this day in particular, there was actually hail. Mm-hmm. I actually had to park at post because it was so bad I couldn't even really see. And this ambulance drives by and they say, "Hey, there's an individual over there. Could you mind checking on him if it's not out of your way?" And he wasn't too far away, so I decided, you know what, I guess I'll drive over there, check on the guy. And he was shirtless, he was drenched, he was shaking. I just felt really bad for the guy. And I won't divulge his name or anything, but he explains to me, he goes, "Man, I just got out of prison, and I want to go back. This is worse than, at least, I had shelter.
Right.
And I'm out here, I got no one to depend on, nowhere to go." And I go, "Well, I can't let you in my vehicle due to company rules. But if you can follow me back through the rain, there's this cave that I am supposed to guard. And as long as you stay within jurisdiction, somewhere I can see you and I can trust you, and you maintain, both our safety, you don't act up, I would be happy to lead you back to where there's some shelter." And he goes, "Yeah, man, I'd appreciate it." And so I led back, and I called and made sure with my superiors that was all right. And we get there, and I remembered, I have a extra bag in my car with clothes, towels, drinks, that kind of thing, just for these kinds of situations. And so I went in and got a poncho out for him, some towels, let him dry off, some clothes. He's like, "Thank you, man, I appreciate it." And I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Do you know where I could go?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm going to call my bosses because I know they'll be more familiar with this area. And they gave me directions to the nearest shelter, and I gave him those directions, and I saw him out. And if he sees this, I hope you're doing well wherever you're at. Very kind man, and that's kind of how that went.
That's a cool story, man. You often, I can hear it. You often hear kind of the bad and just, I don't know, the juicy stories with the security law enforcement, and the kindness and the kind acts such as that don't really get the recognition that they deserve. And so I remember it was Brian, and Brian and I kind of collaborate on Officer of the Month, and so I'll go to the captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and see who's been doing a good job. And there's always the really cool lifesavers, and that gesture very well could have been a lifesaver award. Getting that guy on the right track is so underrated and overlooked. And so that's why, partly why, when I heard the story, that we chose it for the Officer of the Month, which is well deserved.
Absolutely.
But that has the butterfly effect down the road. That act of kindness to him could have changed his life. And it's not too crazy to think that that trust,
ripple.
Yeah, that ripple, that trust in humanity. I'm not used to being on the side. Sorry, I'm fidgety. That faith restoration of humanity that people talk about. That's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And so, don't sell yourself short on the achievement there. That's really well deserved. And a picture and a gift card's nice, but keep doing those things out in the field. And it's important that we treat people like human beings. You know, when I first started at Titan, it was kind of, I don't know, an unspoken rule that we had a war against the homeless because we're constantly moving them, you know, relocating them. And I mean, just security and law enforcement. Security more often than law enforcement. They've got bigger fish to fry, but we're out there protecting private property, and, you know, these loitering individuals cause people to be afraid, and so they don't want to go to and from, or, you know, it's there's lots of things, stigmas that come with it, but these are human beings just trying to get by, and so for a gesture like that, that was really cool. It was really cool. I'm glad we were able to share it here today.
When you're talking back, like when you started, when I was on patrol and things like that, and he's right. There used to be, it felt like that unwritten rule, and something that I had told myself is I always wanted to do what I could to help somebody when I could. Mm-hmm. So when I come across those individuals, I would do something as best I could. You know, if I knew that they needed a drink or if they were hungry and they wanted food, I would say, hey, look, man, I can't take you in my car, but if you give me 10 minutes, hey, if you hang out over here, give me 15 minutes. I'll run down and get you something, or, you know, I'll get you something to drink, or whatever the case may be, because I know that those acts of kindness are as little as they are, it can mean the world to somebody. And the fact that you were able to do that and get him dried off and then get him a poncho and that stuff, he's right. It's 100%. You hear more bad out in the world than you do the good, and the good absolutely needs to be celebrated, which is why we picked you for this, because that act of kindness, as small as it may seem to me and you, could have been the absolute difference in life-changing for that individual. And so those things need to be celebrated. They need to be made public. And it's not something that you want to hide away. It's something we want to say, hey, these are the acts of kindness and the acts of service that our officers are doing to help the community, because we're not just there to protect the community, though that may be our main responsibility. We're there for the betterment of the community. Mm-hmm. And that's everybody. That's not just the people that are that we're there for, that employ us. It's for the community. It's why we have the CID districts and stuff like that. It's because it's community improvement. We're there to help and assist in the best ways that we can, and giving him cover and getting him dried off and getting him a poncho and then getting him to an area where those services can help him. And that by far is, like I said, small to us, massive change to him. And with you, I hope he's doing well. I don't know if he will see this, but I wish him the best, and I hope he's doing well, and I hope everything improves for him.
Right.
So continue with those kind acts, because those are what changes people's lives, as small as they are. So again, thank you and congratulations.
Yeah, well done, man. Well done.
Yeah. Well, when I got the award, I was surprised because, you know, I was thinking about all the big things I hear about, like I believe the Titan of the Year, he had stopped someone with a machete, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, that's Security Officer of the Year.
Yeah,
so
Security Officer of the Year.
That was amazing. And I'm thinking
he'll probably be in the running for Titan of the Year as well at the end of this year. But yeah, I mean, and again, that's why I said you hear about those. We had Corporal Wheeler on here who literally did CPR and brought a guy back to life. Right. That doesn't normally happen. It just.
So I
hate to say it,
those kinds of things, and I'm like, wow, I still got recognized.
And
this
that's the
really
thing
nice.
is you see those big ones like that where someone stops somebody with a machete, or somebody brings somebody back to life, or performs life-saving procedures, and it works. But it's not just the big ones; it's the little ones, because the little ones have their own impact. Right. And sure, those big ones are fantastic, and congratulations and thank you to those officers. But the little ones matter as well. And so having something like yours where it seems little to us, and it's not just us that it affects, and it's little to me and you and little to him, but it's massive to the individual that you helped. And so we have to recognize that, because those little acts of service like that are life-changing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, again, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Dylan, we'll hop into saying thanks. Dylan, thank you for joining us. Brian, I see you there. Billy, hey. Let's see. Yeah.
McFabulous
is here. Absolutely. Beatty, thank you for joining. We just saw you. But yeah, so congratulations. Thank you. Let me ask you this. You've been to a couple of different posts. You've worked with quite a few of them. For a new officer, so if you were giving recommendation to a new officer, what's something that you would say would help them make their career better, make their lives easier doing this for a job? Because we all know this job is tough. What's something you do that you would recommend to a new officer that helps de-stress you or helps make this easier to deal with when you're not here?
I would say definitely ask a lot of questions, because if there is anything you're unsure about, unconfident about, the Titan team, they will make sure you feel reassured. They'll give you that correct leadership. They'll walk you through it to where it's really easy to understand, really easy to get down, and it's just about getting those patterns down. When you first start out, it's, man, I don't know how to do a patrol. I don't know how often I should do a patrol. You got all these thoughts in your head, and you're overthinking it. But in reality, once you just get those efforts into practice and your leaders show you how to do those efforts, it gets so much easier. It's just rinse and repeat. You just have to remember to stay vigilant. No matter how many times you do the same task, you still have to keep
Don't get complacent.
Yeah, don't get complacent.
Absolutely.
It's a really good point.
Absolutely.
Questions. Don't ever stop asking them.
I say it all the time in orientation and with the new officers. Hey, our number one role as supervisors is to answer your questions, because our job is to make your lives as easy as we can when it comes to the transition from not doing this job or never doing this job to doing it. And so there's never a bad question. There's never a stupid question. If you've got a question, you don't know how to do something, or you're not sure if you're doing it correctly, just ask. That's our whole role, is to make sure you have that information to do it. And coming from a fairly seasoned officer, who's still asking questions, and, there's nothing wrong with it. I've been doing this almost 12 years now, and I still ask questions. You can ask him. I asked him several today. I was like, hey, how are we doing this right? Are we doing this? How are we doing it? Because that's how you learn. That's how you get better, and that's how you advance in this. You don't know everything. You're never going to know everything. You have to continue that advancement. So fantastic. That's great advice. What's something that you do on post? We had one about this, and everybody struggles with this, is being bored. What's something that you do that hopefully isn't you about to admit you play on your phone, that keeps your mind going when you're at work? Because you have long shifts as well. You have 12-hour shifts that you do. So what's something that you do and that you recommend to help keep those long shifts moving forward for somebody?
Well, if you have the opportunity, if your shift isn't a complete graveyard shift, something that helps me is make conversation with clients. Not too friendly. You still need to maintain officer presence and remain professional, but just showing that our officers can be friendly, that makes us look nice. Then clients are more likely to help you too. They feel comfortable to talk to you. Say they see something suspicious, they're like, hey, Officer Hall, I saw something over there that I was a little concerned about. Whereas if they didn't know me and they didn't see that I was actively caring, they may not have thought to tell me. And also keeps you awake. Just a little someone to talk to, a little something to keep the day going.
Little idle conversation. Love it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It keeps you engaged, And I like how you said that you still have to maintain that officer presence. It's a fine line, especially like our school resource officers. They have a tough job of being friends with the students, but then turning business on when they need to turn business on. And that's difficult because adults have difficulties navigating that balance. Kids are even, less developed, so it's harder for them to understand that. And so that's a fine line to toe, but it's a very good point.
Fantastic point. Well, Major, do you have any questions for him? Anything you'd like to?
No, I just really wanted to highlight that, and I don't want it to seem like it's a small act. It's these often overlooked acts of kindness are extremely important to our industry, to our officers, and to the public. So again, thank you. I hope people understand or grasp the power of acts like this that you did. So yes, that's. I'm glad we were able to share it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's why I was trying to phrase it as it may be small to us, but it's huge and life-changing to somebody else. Because when you look at that stuff and you look at these acts of service that we do when it comes to people, there are things that are going to be small to me and you, small to us, but are life-changing to somebody else. I think my favorite interaction I've ever had with somebody is I had someone walk up. I was doing a patrol of a property a decade ago. And he walked up and he goes, hey, man, I'm just looking for directions and cigarettes. And I was like, you know what? And I used to smoke like a chimney at the time. So, you know what, man, I got a few extra cigarettes. I said, where are you trying to get to? And he told me, and I was like, yeah, I actually know where that is, surprisingly enough. And I gave him a couple of cigarettes. I lit one of them for him, and I told him where it was. And he thanked me and went on his way. I think it was like a month and a half later, I saw him walking down. His attire had changed. He looked different. And he walked up and he thanked me for the cigarettes and the directions. And I didn't even recognize him. He was like, hey, I know you. And I was like, cool. Like, sure. Because you gave me directions and cigarettes. And again, I was like, I guess, glad to help. But it's those little things. It's small to us, but it could be different, the difference for someone else. So even though overlooked or small on our side, it could be completely different to somebody else's perspective and their views. So those are always super important when we're doing those, when we want to continue that, because it's life-changing,
Yep.
Anybody in the comments, anybody in chat that want to ask Mr. Hall here a question about his fantastic service and his mentality on that? Or
Phenomenal.
I'm an open book, I promise.
Did you watch our podcast before, or have you? You can be honest.
I have watched some of the podcasts. I don't recall any of them as of the moment.
That's
but
painful.
I went through and I was like, oh, we have a podcast, and I watched a few. And
Are you subscribed?
I am subscribed on YouTube.
There you go.
I don't know if we have any other.
We do.
Okay,
Good.
but YouTube's my main.
Yeah. We have other like platforms.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have Instagram and
Oh yeah, for like our social.
yeah.
Yeah, I did not know we had an
We
Instagram.
have Facebook too, I think. Brian, don't hate me, because I don't actually know that one. We have a Facebook and an Instagram as well. LinkedIn, of course. All of those details should be in the description. Brian will like that I said that.
Yes. Where's Brian at?
No, he wasn't there. I don't know if he's still
We
there.
need to get him back on the show one of these days.
Absolutely.
We need to do a hot sauce.
Funny enough, Lavi was just asking me about that.
Yeah.
I told him to shoot me a reminder so we can actually get the next one planned. He's actually got more hot sauces for him.
Oh, good. Yeah, he sent that picture. I've got a good reaction video for us to do too. I've been kind of out of the game for a while, so.
President Ryan?
Ryan.
Me,
This
Ryan.
is Ryan.
Ryan.
There's more than one Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay.
Betty, that's the obvious answer. It's me. That's why Coop gets sad when I'm not here.
I was gonna say, I think you might have actually called on my birthday.
Nope,
or around my birthday.
that was Mr. Smith.
That was Mr. Smith. Okay.
I do make calls sometimes,
So
but yeah.
I didn't know which one it was.
If he's going to be out of town and like our director can't do it, then me or the chief Leon will take his birthday. And I got a call from him yesterday, so 'cause it was my birthday.
Oh, happy late birthday!
Thank you.
But I think that I was gonna say I like.
He called me on my work phone too, which is we text. I mean, I don't like talk to him all the time. He's the president, but we text from time to time of something that I know he likes. That we're both true crime junkies, and
Okay.
That doesn't surprise me.
yeah. And so, like, if a new show's out or something, and so but then he called me on my work phone. I was like, you called me on my work phone. He's like, oh, this is the one I have for you. I was like, oh, okay.
He's done it. He's called me on my birthday and stuff, and he usually calls my personal. But the last time he did it, it changed. He called from his cell phone, and it freaked me out because I didn't have the number at the time.
Yeah.
And so I answered. I was like, "Hello," and he goes, "Hey, Josh," and I'm like, "Brian?" I was like, "Wait a minute." But yeah, no, he does that. Every officer out there
Yeah.
calls on their birthdays and anniversaries.
I was
And
gonna say. I mean, how many companies does someone that high up take the time to call
And he
each
loves it.
individual? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We stay hydrated, Betty. It starts the day before, not the day of. I'm pretty sure I coined that to begin with.
I think you did.
And then we kind of just had you take it.
I don't think we had me take it. I just think that everybody was massive on someone saying it. And when I was just like, Brian was like, "You're doing it." I was like, "Okay."
Sorry.
But no, so thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. We're gonna hop into the weather, and then we'll let you get back to your day, so you can. We brought you in before your shift, and thank you for that, by the way. So we'll hop into the weather real quick, and we'll get everybody out to enjoy their weekend. So here's what we're looking at. So for the weekend right now, we're looking at 94 degrees on Saturday with partly cloudy. Sundays are 93 and sunny, so that's your lawn mowing days for those of you who are able to do that.
I
Looking
know.
at Mr. Mansion over here.
It's not a mansion. I should be doing it. I should be doing it tonight, but I'm not going to because I'm going to be lazy.
On Monday, we're at 98 with mostly sunny. On Tuesday was 96, partly cloudy. Wednesday, 91, same cloudy. Thursday, 92 and sunny, so there's another lawn care day if you can. Friday, we're looking at 92 with some thunderstorms. Same with Saturday at 89 and Sunday 89, also with scattered storms as well. So the weekend, hopefully, we'll get some rain and it'll cool it down a little bit. But other than that, I don't really have anything else other than, again, to say congratulations
Yeah,
on
well
the
done.
award.
Thank you.
Thank
Well
you
done.
so much for the active service and helping him out, and wish to continue to do the same thing.
Encourage the rest of the viewers and audience that work for us, or if you don't and you see a Titan doing a good act or a random act of kindness, let us know about it. It's good to give recognition to those guys. It's too often you hear about people doing dumb stuff or getting in trouble. We want to be able to reward the people for doing the right thing. So
Absolutely.
helps motivate and keep the morale up. So
other than that, we'll let you guys get back to your weekend. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do this stuff without you guys. We wouldn't be able to pull Mr. Hall in and embarrass him, hopefully, and embarrass ourselves like we do so much.
every day or every podcast.
So, again, thank you so much for it. We appreciate it. Remember, guys, stay hydrated. Hydration is the day before,
Phenomenal.
not the day of. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.